What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I am here with the all-new 2026 Toyota Camry Nightshade. I'm calling it all new because the Nightshade is an all-new trim level for the 2026 model year. It's basically the same as the SE trim level, but with an appearance package and a few other little things added too. And I haven't seen that many videos yet on YouTube for the Nightshade, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to fill you guys in on everything you need to know. This video is just going to be the test drive. If you're interested in the design, the features, all that stuff, I'll have a separate walk around video, so be on the lookout on my channel for that. And a big thank you to Toyota for sending over this Camry Nightshade for this review. So anyway, let's get into it, starting off with the suspension. So according to Toyota, the Nightshade has a special sport-tuned suspension. But the thing is that I was trying to look into what exactly that means. I was trying to get some more information on the suspension, and in my research, I really could not come to a definitive answer. So apparently it has slightly different tuning than the rest of the Camry lineup. What exactly that is, I can't really answer. But we have McPherson struts up in the front, multi-link in the rear. The Toyota Camry, to me, over the years, has always had a very floaty and smooth ride. It does feel like in this Nightshade that there's a little bit more road feel than what I typically come to expect from a Toyota Camry. So is that what they mean by sport-tuned suspension? Not sure. But I do have to say, the composure of the suspension reminds me a lot of the Toyota Crown. That's Toyota's full-size sedan, and it's a very premium, more upmarket vehicle. But there is a bit more road feel in terms of like the vibration from the tires. This is also riding on upgraded 19-inch wheels from the 18-inch on the SE. So from the sport-tuned suspension, the 40 series sidewall on the tires, you get a bit of vibration and a little bit of road noise too, but nothing crazy. But it can still handle bumps and potholes just as good as all the other Camrys. When I took my road test to get my license, I took that test in a 1998 Camry, and that's when I was born. So it was a 17-year-old car at that point, but I was very surprised by how smooth it rode for a car that old. And my parents had a 98 Altima when I was growing up, and the difference in ride quality between that Camry and that Altima, that Camry was unmatched. Wasn't even close. Now, unfortunately, one part of the ride quality that this Camry is lacking in comparison to the Toyota Crown is the road noise. I don't just mean road noise from the tires, I mean road noise that comes in to the cabin, from the outside. This doesn't quite have the same level of sound deadening materials and insulation, but the amount of road noise that does come in is pretty typical for the segment. After all, this isn't a luxury car, although I do think the Honda Accord is slightly quieter, just by a little bit. Alright, next let's talk about this hybrid system because, as you may know, the Camry is fully hybrid now. So the system was new for 2025 last year, but basically this is Toyota's 5th generation hybrid system. So in this Camry, which does have the all-wheel drive, we get 46 miles per gallon all around, so that's city, highway, and combined. We have a 13-gallon fuel tank, and the range on this vehicle with a full tank is up to 598 miles. The current state of fully electric cars just simply can't do that. So the range is fantastic, and that 46 miles per gallon in a midsize sedan with all-wheel drive, I don't think you can really beat that. So let's get a little bit deeper into the powertrain. So we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that's paired with 3 different electric motors. This puts out a combined 232 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque, and that is paired with an eCVT and E all-wheel drive. And if you're unfamiliar with Toyota's E all-wheel drive system, basically, one of those 3 electric motors is mounted back in the rear, and that motor powers the rear wheels independently from the front wheels. So you don't have a traditional drive shaft that runs front to back. The power to the front wheels and the rear are done completely separate of each other. In terms of drive modes, we just have Eco, Normal, and Sport. The buttons are right here. We're gonna head into an acceleration test now. I'm gonna put it in Sport mode. 0 to 60 is rated at 6.8 seconds. All right, so I'm gonna come to a complete stop, not gonna brake torque it. We are going a little bit uphill, so something to keep in mind. All right, full stop, and So as you just saw, that 3 electric motor setup delivers power nearly instantaneously. Now, it's not the torquiest setup because we only have 163 pound-feet of torque, but in terms of on the low end, it's pretty much instantaneous. So even with this being, a stereotypical, boring, Camry hybrid, it's fairly quick. I mean, 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds for a family sedan is pretty respectable. And I like how the transmission doesn't do any fake shifting either. Now, there are paddle shifters on the back of the wheel that do kind of help, bring your RPMs up or down. But since we don't have any real shifting going on, I personally don't really see the need for them. But I mean, it's an option. If you want to use it, you don't have to. And as is typical with Toyota, the hybrid system is very smooth in the transition from the battery to the engine. Toyota is a pioneer in the hybrid game. And even though they have fallen behind in terms of full electrification, I still think they do hybrid better than anyone else. All right, so now it is time to take this thing out on the highway. Got a little bit of traffic, nothing crazy. Foot down. Okay. Okay, little gap, foot down. So when already in motion, you put your foot down, you still get that nearly instantaneous torque delivery, although it's not as dramatic as off the line. I'm sure you could hear the trucks, the other vehicles around me, so, it's not the quietest, it's not the loudest either. The engine isn't overly loud, only when you're really pushing it. And the CVT2, the drone of the CVT isn't that bad. Sport mode is good for harder acceleration, but once you're up to speed, if you put it in eco, then the car will spend more of its time in EV mode, and that's how you can really maximize your range. But I'm going to throw it back in sport one more time. And I think it has plenty of pickup. It's not a race car. It's not trying to be. Okay, let's slow down a bit and I really don't have anything bad to say when you think of the performance you get with the efficiency you get too. I think it achieves both things really well. Alright, now it's time to test out the adaptive cruise control. On this Nightshade, we don't have a head-up display, so we do have to direct our attention to the gauge cluster here. So first we want to make sure lane tracing assist is turned on. So then you see the little icon pop up there on the gauge cluster. This button right here sets your speed, turns the system on, and then you can see the little green number underneath the car right there on the display. That's your set speed, and then of course you have your speed you're actually going right above. So I got no hands on the accelerator, no hands on the wheel. So far we're doing okay with remaining centered in the lane. Sometimes, in my experience with Toyotas, sometimes the lane keeping can be hit or miss. But it usually does a perfectly okay job with maintaining the following distance with the car in front, which uses this button right here. You can set your distance, and then there's the warning, to keep your hands on the wheel. So far so good. There's a big turn coming up the road here that I'm a little concerned about, but we'll see how it goes. So far so good. But you do frequently get that warning of, keeping your hand on the wheel, so either give it a little pinch or a little nudge, and that'll keep the system going. Otherwise, it'll turn off on you. Okay, so we did go with this turn. Now, there is some traffic. We're not going super fast. That was at 42 miles an hour, but it still did better than I expected it to do. The warning to keep your hand on the wheel is pretty incessant and annoying, but at the same time, this system isn't meant to be, an autonomous self-driving system. It's supposed to be a driving assistant. This doesn't have lane change assist or anything like that. But as long as you, keep your foot off the brake while you're changing lanes manually, the system will still continue on as it was. But now we're going pretty slow. Actually, I'm going to lower. The following distance was set all the way at number 4. So now I have it back down to number 1. So now we're accelerating a little bit more. I'm going to up the speed now since the flow of traffic is going up a bit. So now that car's out of the lane, let's see how we accelerate. Okay, decent, not bad. Some vehicles are way too slow to accelerate after a space opens up in front. Okay, let's see how we do with braking. Okay, that did good. I was gonna put my foot on the brake, I didn't though, so car did a good job with, avoiding rear-ending that person. Now when the lanes widen and kind of open up like this, then you have to, be a little bit more careful and kind of pay closer attention to it. But I would say overall this cruise control system is pretty good. So since this Camry Nightshade is based off of the SE trim level, we don't get the upgraded JBL audio system, so we have the 6-speaker bass audio system. So let's take a listen. Well, it's a bass audio system, and it sounds like one. The speakers, they do rattle the door panels quite a bit. Clarity of sound also not great. There is quite a bit of muddiness. And the rattling in the door panel and stuff, like I didn't even have the volume that high. Let's see. 38 out of 62. So a little more than half. And this specific Camry Nightshade that I'm driving right now has a lot of options added onto it. It has the convenience package, the cold weather package, the multimedia package. Now the multimedia package only includes this upgraded screen. So we have the 12.3-inch screen here. The standard Nightshade does not come with this, so this is upgraded. But unfortunately, the JBL audio system is not a part of that package, so you can't option that JBL in the Nightshade. To me, that doesn't make any sense, because if you're gonna call a package the multimedia package, display and audio, those things go together. So if you're gonna offer 1,000,001 packages to, nickel and dime people for each little thing, that should at least be an option. Alright, so now we are out here at the back roads to test out the steering and the handling of the Camry Nightshade. Now there is a pretty significant difference in the feel of the steering between normal and sport. Right now I have it in, let me turn off lane keep assist, okay. In the normal drive setting, the steering, it feels kind of dull and numb, doesn't have much weight to it, and then when you put it in sport, it's a lot better. It's a lot more engaging, it's tighter, there's more feedback. But yeah, in normal, don't really love the steering. Now let's throw it into this turn right here. Camry is very nimble, especially with that electronic all-wheel drive. I do have to say, I think the handling is a little bit better than the Honda Accord, but I think that's mainly because the Camry offers all-wheel drive like we have here, whereas the Accord doesn't. While I have the open road and still have it in sport, let's check the steering. The speed of the feedback, pretty good. Actually pretty quick. And let's test a sudden brake. Perfectly acceptable brakes there, plenty of bite. Now, on the topic of regenerative braking, this has been a sore spot in the past with all the 2025 model year Toyotas that I test drove last year, because there were a lot of them. But if you look right here on the gauge display, you can see those two little red lines at the very bottom. Basically, those lines are a visual guide showing you when the regenerative braking is active. I had a lot of issues with a bunch of Toyota models from 2025 where the regenerative braking was just all over the place. Sometimes it would randomly come on even without actually putting your foot on the brake, and then you didn't know to what degree it was gonna activate, whether it's gonna be a little bit or actually do hard braking for you. There was a whole bunch of weird things going on with the system. But so far, in every 2026 model year Toyota I've driven so far, it seems they've fixed all of that. So now the regenerative braking, it only engages when you actually put your foot on the brake. So I would like to believe that Toyota listened to all my complaints from last year, because it seems like now they've all been addressed, which is a good thing. So the regenerative braking, it is, another component of the hybrid system that helps prolong that range. It can give you, a few little miles here and there. It doesn't add any significant amount of range, but a little here, a little there, it all adds up. So the MSRP of this 2026 Toyota Camry Nightshade all-wheel drive with all its options is $38,519. I think the level of performance that this provides with the level of efficiency makes this Camry a no-brainer. I think it gets maybe 1 mile per gallon better than the Accord hybrid, so they're pretty much on par in that regard. But of course, the all-wheel drive is available on the Camry. On the Accord, it is not. So a huge thank you to Toyota for sending the Camry. I thoroughly enjoyed my week with it, and I would not hesitate to recommend it to anybody. But please let me know your thoughts on the new Camry Nightshade down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend and subscribe. It'll really help the channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos, and be sure to follow @OpticalAutomotive on TikTok and Instagram, and check out the page on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.